In this video, I discuss why you need at least 35 years of earnings to qualify for the top quartile Social Security payment. Coming up next on Holy Schmidt.
Holy Schmidt!
There are well over 100,000 pages on the Social Security website, and these pages cover off the rules and exceptions to the possible combinations to take your Social Security benefits. Because of the vast number of combinations, confusion and frustration sets in for current and future Social Security recipients. They don't know what they're entitled to, when they're entitled to it, and frankly, they get their information from their friends who probably don't have much more information than they do. This video will discuss why you need to have 35 years or more of work history to get what I call the top quartile of Social Security payment. And at the same time, I will dispel some of the lore out there that causes people to think that you can just rock up and get a Social Security payment regardless of how long you've been in the country or how much you've contributed to the Social Security system. Along the way, I will answer some questions that are asked but generally never answered or rarely answered about Social Security benefits. All right, let's go. But before we do, if you have an Instagram account and you'd like to follow me, you just go to _Schmidt list on Instagram and you'll see a different side of me, a little bit more personal side of me, and also a more concise side of Social Security. First, let's dispel the single biggest misconception that is floating around on website chat rooms and in the comments section on social media. And that is anyone who happens to be here in the United States can get Social Security retirement benefits. That is not true. This misconception comes from the fact that some states have benefits that look similar to Social Security, at least for a very short period of time, but don't require the same level of contribution that Social Security requires. States often provide things like unemployment benefits or basic health care and other benefits that provide for the well-being of the person living in the state, but these are not Social Security retirement benefits. Another point is that Social Security provides spousal and or dependent benefits under some circumstances, and those benefits don't require the spouse or the dependent to work. But what we're talking about here are the benefits for the primary insured, the worker, in other words, the one that gains access to Social Security based on their work history. The other point is that Social Security requires the primary insured to have at least 40 quarters of qualified earnings. That means that they have 10 years over their lifetime to earn a minimum amount of money per quarter, and that will entitle them access to the Social Security system. In 2023, for example, it's $1,640 per quarter. It's not a hard number to hit. So people think that if they have 40 quarters at the minimum of $1,640 or lower in previous years, that they automatically receive solid, good Social Security benefits. But the quarterly earnings are just the ticket to the game. Your payment is based on how much you earned and how long you earned it. And just for completeness here, if you earn the minimum required to gain access to the Social Security system, $1,640 per quarter, you would receive $140.57 a month. Now that we've got the rumors out of the way, let's talk about why 35 years is the magic number. Benefits are paid based on a two-step process. Step one is to take your prior earnings and bring them into today's dollars using something called the National Average Wage Index. Then, after your historical earnings have been adjusted for inflation, your top 35 years are added together and divided by 35. This gives you your average indexed annual earnings. You divide that by 12 and you have your average indexed monthly earnings, and this is a very important number, AIME. And if you have over 35 years, the Social Security Administration takes your best 35 years and discards the rest. What if you don't have 35 years of earnings? Well, the SSA will still take your earnings over the 35 years and add zeros to those where you didn't have earnings, and then take that number and divide it by 35, so that you can see your starting point is much lower the larger your number of zeros. But there's an offset that protects the downside of the recipient who worked less than 35 years. It also prevents the recipient from having a windfall payment of just the average indexed monthly earnings. Social Security uses something called bend points. Bend points adjust down your average indexed monthly earnings to a number that ultimately becomes your Social Security payment in your full retirement year. The larger the earnings, the greater the reduction. I'll explain how that works in just a moment. But let's start off by using the median income in the United States in 2021 As an example, as a starting point, the median income was $69,717. Median means that the number of earners above $69,717 was exactly the same as the number of earners below $69,717. If you use the average, it would be much higher, it would be closer to 90,000, but then you're including people, billionaires, for example, who have ridiculous earnings, and it skews everybody up. So median is a much better number, $69,717. That's $5,810 per month if you divide it by 12. If the SSA stopped and said, okay, your average indexed monthly earnings is $58.10, we're going to give you that for the rest of your retirement. Nobody would save for retirement, and everybody would feel, rightfully so, like they had won the lottery. Let's take the 5810 and run it through the bend points so that you can see what the Social Security Administration does with your AIME. Using 2023 numbers, the SSA will pay you 90% of your first $1,115. They'll pay you 32% of your next $5,606. Finally, they'll pay you 15% of any remaining amount up to the earnings cap. So if your average indexed monthly earnings is $5,810, the SSA will pay you 90% of the first $1,115, that's $1,003.50, and they'll pay you 32% of the rest. The rest is $4,695. You run $46.95 through the bend points at 32%, you come up with $1,502. This means at full retirement age, you would receive $2,506 per month. What if you only worked 20 years instead of 35, but you still earned $5,810 on average? Well, your average indexed monthly earnings would be $58.10 times 20 divided by 35, or $3,320. So you'd be 43% less in terms of the actual AIME. Does this mean that your Social Security payment will be 43% less? Thankfully, no. You run $3,320 through the bend points and you get 90% of your first $1,115, or $1,350, that hasn't changed, and you get 32% of the rest. The rest is $2,205, or $705.60. This means at full retirement age, you'll get $1,709.10. This is 32% less than what you would have received had you worked the entire 35 years. Still, the average Social Security recipient will notice the difference between $2,506 and $1,709. Here's an important point to note though. Your average indexed monthly earnings is based on your total earnings over a 35-year period. So if you had 2 or 3 years that were actually double what you normally would earn, double the median in this example, and you missed the same number of years, you would come up with the exact same result most of the time. But for most people, it's easier to add years than to double your annual income 2 or 3 years to offset it. So for most people, the best route to getting the maximum Social Security payment is just to put in the time. One last point, if you work for 35 years, most people earn more the last 20-25% of their career than they did in the beginning and middle part of their career on average. So if you're trying to maximize your Social Security payment, take that into account because the formula does take your best 35 years. If you like this video, please click the like button. YouTube uses the number of likes in its algorithm to push a video to the top of the search results, and I'd like to help as many people as possible. Also, check out this video on the 10 biggest surprises your first year in retirement. It's one that I filmed recently and it's quite popular. This is Jeff Schmidt. Thanks for watching.